Hi, and welcome back to Farmstead MTG, the channel where we watch grown men play magic and drinking beer, flipping orbs, casting lightning bolts, and all that good stuff. So let's take a look at some decks. And here's the first deck. Player name is Håvard, and he was on another video earlier in this event. Here's his mono blue control deck, featuring a lot of counter spells: Force Spike, Mana Drain, Psionic Blast, a bunch of good creatures, Serendefret, Prodigal Sorcerer, Air Elemental, Control Magic, Clone, all the awesome blue cards. There are 3 mazes here, those are very good with the Nevral's Disc. There are also some card advantage in form of JMD Tome and Jalem Tome, and Vesuvian Doppelganger, Copy Artifact, all that good stuff. So a sweet blue deck. And here's the second deck. Player name is Jarle. And first of all, this is an older picture. So there are some river boas here, for example. Those are now replaced with Argothian Pixies. So he doesn't take deck pictures that often. So, but other than that, his picture is pretty up to date. This is a 4-color ColorGoodStuff. So there are a lot of mazes in our local meta game. So he put in 3 Stone Rain and 2 Ice Storm, just to have some outs against that. And they work very well with putting you out of the right mana. For example, taking that second blue mana so you can cast counter spells. So those are really annoying. And he also has some burn, a lot of good creatures. He has 4 Birds of Paradise, so those helps out a lot with getting all those different colors of mana. Some blue power, some black power. Yeah, this deck is super solid. So let's see who's going to take this one. Game number 1. Håvard to left, Jarl to right. Håvard has Ancestor's Recall, Counterspell, a couple of islands. So, and Håvard is on the play, starts out with an island. Factory from Jarle and Ancestor's Recall. That's a super solid start. Let's see if we can deploy some of his cards. Okay, so he passed the turn. There's also a Fellow Stone in his hand, but he chose to keep up double blue for a counter spell. But Jarle isn't biting, so he just attacked with a factory. Now he has 3 blue. No, he has 2 blue and a factory. And casting out Prodigal Sorcerer. So now Jarle has 3 mana, and there's a bolt on the Prodigal Sorcerer and an attack with a factory. Puts Håvard down to 16. I see a lot of islands in Håvard's hand. Will he crack back with a factory? Will he deploy an Fellow Stone? All the choices. Another factory into a Fellow Stone. No, a strip mine. Interesting. So he's tapping the strip mine. So there is an opening for Jarle to make another attack with his factory. He's choose to cast an Serendefret, but Håvard has that counter spell that he had from his opening hand. So putting that to good use. And here comes an attack with a factory. He's not using his strip mine yet, being very patient with it. Another city of brass. There's the strip mine, taking care of that factory. 3 mana left for Jarle. He's tapping it down for another Serendefret. And there's a mana drain. Wow. So now he has 3 mana in his first main phase. 4 mana for a disc. And an attack with the factory. Jarle down to 14. That's 3 islands. So a lot of mana. But it's really cool to have that disc on the table, just as a reset button if things get out of control. A Chaos Orb from Jarle. So I guess he is thinking about using that Chaos Orb on the disc. It is really annoying when your opponent has that disc. But I think the best strategy is to try to cast something and make him use that disc. But now there's a maze in play, so now you need 2 creatures to start doing some damage. And that's not fun, to deploy 2 big creatures and having them destroyed by the disc. So here you see that beautiful synergy with the mace and the disc. There's a mana vault. And Håvard casts a Prodigal Sorcerer, so he's deploying. The third city of brass, that can be painful. I think I see a Psionic Blast in Jarle's hand. Maybe a Time Walk also, perhaps. I guess he's thinking about using that Chaos Orb. So you cannot you cannot destroy the disc with the Chaos Orb in response. You can do it, but the effect is still on the stack. So here's another Prodigal Sorcerer. So now Håvard is winning on the table, and he has that disc. So Jarle will need to commit something big to the table to get Håvard to use that disc. Such a funny mind game. Okay, so he's going for that disc. And the Chaos Orb is there's a band on it, so he's choosing to use another card that is more straight, but unfortunately that was a miss. Lots of islands, but he can make it look like he has some counter spells. but at Chaos Orb flipping, you should practice. And I used to practice a lot earlier, and then I felt like, okay, I'm pretty good at this, so I stopped practicing, and then I start missing. So now before the tournament in Tron Wars and the Plague, I think I need to do some flipping at home. Do 50 flips each day, for example. I've heard someone is doing that. Okay, so now he commits to the table. The Chaos Orb is out, so he need to make a board state. There he is winning. If that disc is going to explode. Okay, so he uses the disc, and in response he pings for 2 with a Prodigal Sorcerers, and he floats 3 mana with a Mana Vault. And caster Serendi Efret. And a Time Walk from Jarle, and he is out of resources. Oh, and there's a Jame Day Tome. Here comes card advantage, and Jarle is down to 4 life. There's an Urnam Djinn. So attacks down to 1. Activating the book, drawing a card, and there's another Serendi Efret. Yep. And Håvard wins game 1. And while we are waiting for game 2, you can support this channel by smashing the like button and subscribing. Appreciate it. Game number 2. Jarle is on the play. Starts out with an Island. Island from Håvard as well. Underground Sea. And a Chaos Orb is back. So when you're playing with this 4-color ColorGoodStuff deck, you really want that Birds of Paradise first turn. And then it's awesome to cast Stone Rain or that Ice Storm. And then you are 2 mana ahead of your opponent. Here's a Demonic Tutor. That's a good way to get ahead. 4 Spike from Håvard. But Jarle can pay that to 1 mana. And my guess would be that he found that Ancestor Recall. Fellow Stone. Strip Mine also. So Jarle still doesn't have green mana, so perhaps it would be wise for Håvard to wait with a Strip Mine until there's a green land on the table, or a factory, of course. There's the Ancestor Recall and a counter spell. Okay, so that's why he used that 4 Spike, so he could get to untap and cast the counter spell. Yeah, that was a smart play. Attacking with a factory. There's a Lightning Bolt and a blue Elemental Blast. that came from the sideboard. I guess he's thinking about using that Chaos Orb. But he's at 20 life, so I think it's smart to just keep it on the table. Tapping 3 mana. I'll just pass the turn. Takes 1 damage from the Serendefret during his upkeep. And attacks for 3. There's a Psionic Blast on the Serendefret. Another Fellow Stone. Attack for 2. So this game is probably going to come down to someone resolving a Brain Geyser or getting some card advantage. Having a sip of a bear. One card in his in Jarl's hand. Okay, he's going for something. 5 mana for an air elemental. And a Psionic Blast. And the Chaos Orb is still on the table. And now Håvard is tapped out. So Jarl cast an Urnam Djinn. Four mana. Clone. That's a cool card. I love it. And Beta also. Beautiful card. Okay. Here comes the Chaos Orb. And he will use a Psionic Blast as the Chaos Orb for the flipping. Okay, can he hit it this time? I'm going slow-mo. Ooh, boom. Very good, that's a hit. And attack for 4, puts Håvard down to 14. So we activate his factory and he casts a copy artifact, making a copy of the factory. At the end of the turn, it will go back to being a land that can be activated. So it functions just like Michel's factory. But the copy artifact still has summoning sickness, of course. So he can pump it to become a 3/3. But that's still 5 power. So they will trade. He can't pump himself, but it doesn't matter, they do 5 damage. So Jarl can choose which one he's destroying. I would like, just it's easier for the video if he takes the copy artifact, but he takes the factory. So that copy artifact in play is Michel's factory. Ooh, Brain Geyser for 4. That is great. And another factory. Okay. Okay, that's a good top deck from Jarle. Ooh, and a third factory. Okay. And look at that hand. So many cards. Is there like 5 cards? That's Prodigal Sorcerer. And Jarle is down to top deck mode. We really need a Brain Geyser or something. Something special. A regrowth. He has an Ancestor Recall in his graveyard. Yeah, whatever it... Could have been a removal spell. There isn't any good attacks. Ooh, Psionic Blast. And pinging with a Prodigal Sorcerer, that's 5 damage. And now we can attack. Jump block with a bird, and he pumps the other factory, so that's 3 damage. Puts Jarl down to 10. And here's a Time Walk into a factory. And Håvard has been very patient with that Strip Mine, so now he can use it to get rid of the opponent's factory. Great patience. And here comes an attack for 6. Jarl is down to 4. And pinging for 1, down to 3. Okay, so looks like Håvard is taking this match. Here we go, lightning bolt on himself. And he counters it. GG. So Håvard with his blue deck won 2-0. And now YouTube will recommend you more videos. You should just watch them all, put them on repeat, and go to bed, and the views will go to the roof. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.